Exercise 4C. 1. Find in each case the set of possible coordinates of a point A which lies on A, horizontal line passing through this point B, -4, -8. So I've plotted that there, -4, -8. Now, if it's a horizontal line, it's parallel to the x-axis. It's a bit counterintuitive, but that is not x equals -8. It is, in fact, y equals -8. So all along that line, y equals -8. So we're not changing that, so that's 1. Now, this can take any x value, because it's all the real numbers on the x-axis there. So we can represent that as x, -8, where x is an element of the real number set. Let's have a look at B. Now, this time it's a vertical line passing through this point B, which is -3 and 7. So we plot that. -3 and 7 is here. And this is the line. Now again, that is parallel to the y-axis, but the actual line is x equals -3. All right? So that means all along that line, x has only one value, and that's -3. So we can set that in there straight away. What is changing is the y values. Now y can be any number. So we can represent that as -3, y, where y is an element of the real number set. Number 2, find the gradient slopes of the lines passing through the following pairs of points. A, okay, these 2 points right along the top, x1, y1 and x2, y2. That's going to help us with this formula here. The slope is the rise, which is y2 minus y1, divided by the run, which is x2 minus x1. In this case, we've got y2 minus y1, that's 4 minus 3, divided by x2 minus 1 minus 2. And that becomes 1 over -3, which is -1/3. B, look, I've written these along the top again. So it's y2 minus y1, that's 7 minus 2, divided by 2 minus -11. So the top becomes 5. The bottom is 2 minus -11 is 13. That's 5 on 13 is the slope. C, we've done the same, written those over the top. M equals y2 minus y1, so that's -0.3 minus 2.2, divided by x2, which is 1.2, right? Because 1/5 is 0.2. So it's 1.2 minus 1.3. So the top line becomes -2.5. The bottom line becomes 2.5. The answer is -1.0. 3. Find the gradients of the stairs for which information is given in the table below. Okay, there's the rise and that's the run. We know that the slope is defined as the rise over the run, and so they've just given us that. We don't know these points, y and x's, but we do know that the total rise is 12 for the first one and the total run is 25. So that's 12 over 25, which is 0.48. For the second one, the rise is 10, the run is 20. 10 over 20, that's a half. And the rise for stair 3 is 15, so it's 15 divided by the run is 18. So this one's 0.48, 0.5, 0.833. It says which stair has the greatest gradient. Well, the greatest gradient is the highest number, and so that's 0.833. B, state which stair has the least gradient. Well, the least gradient is the lowest number there out of these 3, and that's 0.48. Question 4, draw the graphs of the straight line passing through 0, 0 and -5, 6. First thing to do is to obviously draw the axis. Make sure you label it with y and x, and then before you join the points, you need to write the points, draw in the points. So that's 0, 0, and this is -5 and 6, and they've drawn that line there. You know, there's nothing in the question to say that's a segment. It's actually a line and it passes through. So you should draw that longer there and longer, and maybe stick a couple of arrows on the end. Similarly with B, passing through -1 and 2 and -3 and -5. Draw the axis, make sure you put the y and the x there. This is -1 and 2, so that's the first point. Second point is -3 and -5. Again, it says it's a line, so that line really is continuous. You should put some arrows on the end and extend it out past those points because it's passing through those points. 5, find the gradient of the line passing through these 2 points. Okay, so x1, y1 and x2, y2. The slope is y2 minus y1, so that's 2 minus minus 1 over x2 minus x1, that's 3 minus minus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So that's a slope of 0.75. It is quite fine to leave it in that form there. B, passing through these 2 points, again I've got x1, y1 and x2, y2. So it's y2 minus y1, that's 5 minus 2.5 on the top, and x2 minus x1, that's minus 1/3 minus 0. That becomes 2.5 on the top, minus 1/3 on the bottom. When you divide by a fraction, you multiply by the inverse, so it's 2.5 times minus 3 on 1, which is minus 7.5. 6, a skier travels downhill along 2 slopes, one with gradient minus 3 and the other with gradient minus 1/3. State which slope is the steeper, justify your answer. Well, slope 1 is minus 3 on 1, okay, because I've put the run as 1. Here, slope 2 is minus 1 on 3. Therefore, slope 1 is steeper, and that's because the rise is a lot greater than the run. As we've seen, the rise is on the top, so if that number is a lot larger than the run, then the slope is going to be steeper. 7. Megalit plans ski slopes and lift stations along the slopes. Find the height of a ski lift station, B, at that coordinate, which is on a slope with gradient 0.35 and which passes through a lower lift station at this coordinate. All coordinates are given in meters. Well, this is our slope formula. Now, what do we know? We know m because that's given, that's 0.35. We know y2 because that's given. Okay, that's 10. We know x, do we know y1? Let's check. We don't know y1, so we'll call that h. On the bottom, we've got x2. Okay, we know x2 is 90. And we know x1 is 490. So we know there's only one thing we don't know, and that's this h. So let's put it all in the formula. M is 0.35, y2 is 10, y1 is h, so that's 10 minus h. On the bottom, x2 is 90, x1 is 490, so on the bottom is 90 minus 490. That's 0.35 equals 10 minus h on the top. This becomes minus 400. Multiply both sides by minus 400. 0.35 times minus 400 equals 10 minus h. Therefore, making h the subject, we've got 10 plus 0.35 times 400, 10 plus 140, answers 150 metres.